Okay, hi. If I get decapitated, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get all the way down to my feet, and it's kind of hard to do. I want to narrate because you're going to be quizzed on the Braindance, and I want to narrate how you'll be quizzed. We're going to go through the 8 elements. I'm going to start in the hierarchy, in the order that they need to be memorized. I'm going to go through all 8. I'm going to give the name of it, a little description, then I'm going to embody it, and then I'm going to give an image for it of how I might layer some things in to help the students with learning it. And that's the way I will expect you to do it when you make a video for me and you do a Braindance sample. And I'm doing this with my phone and just a little, couple of books and hanging up against them. So I don't expect any kind of professional video. I just want good light, get in some good light that I can see you, and dress appropriately in some form-fitted clothes where I can see your body and where you're, not in your pajamas looking totally unprofessional, and put on a little bit of enthusiasm and a little bit of prosody, which we'll talk about, but vocal presence, right? Vocal tonation, vocal volume. I don't want to hear, sleepy, fatigued voices as you give me the sample. So, the Braindance, first element, breath, breathing. So I'm going to take you through breathing with some counts and some movements. We're going to inhale through the nose. We're going to exhale through the mouth. My image for how we're going to breathe is that we're going to smell some flowers because that's going to remind us to breathe in our nose. And we're going to blow out some birthday candles, and that's going to help us remember to breathe out our mouth. And when we breathe in our nose, we're going to lift up one arm. Doesn't matter which one. And when we blow out our candles, we're going to bring that arm to our mouth. And then we're going to lift up the other arm, smelling the flowers, and bring it down and blow out the candles to our mouth. Then we're going to lift up both and smell the biggest bouquet of flowers, and then we're going to blow it out our mouth with a big whoosh of air. Here we go. Inhale, smell the flowers, and blow out the candle. Inhale, smell the flowers, and blow out the candle. Inhale a whole bouquet of roses, smell it, and blow out a birthday cake of candles. How old you are. All of those candles. Okay, I'm going to go on to tactile. Tactile means touch. I'm going to embody that by rubbing my hands together, and then I'm going to take that rub and I'm going to put it on the inside of my arm, and I'm going to swing it to my other arm. Then I'm going to swing it to the back of my arm, switch sides, swing it to the backs of my arms, switch sides. Then I'm going to bring it up like little pointers, and I'm going to tap, tap, tap on some body parts. I'm tapping, tapping, tapping on my, what is this? It's a sternum. Yes, if we know about the bones, and we know this is a sternum. Sternum. Where's our belly button? Can we find our belly button, and can we rub? Tactile touching our body so that we can wake it up. Now I've got to put some suntan lotion on my legs. So let's rub it down, and then let's rub it back up. Now I'm going to put that suntan lotion on the back of my legs because I'm going to the beach in a bit. And then I'm going to bring it back up. And that would be my tactile, my touching, right? And I use the suntan lotion. And then my next element is core and distal. And core means your powerful middle of your body. You have a head, you have some feet, and somewhere in the middle of that you feel the strongest part of your body, that's your core. And then you have the most distance that you can go in space, standing still, and that's distal, distance, right? So this is my distal in terms of side to side. This is my distal in terms of above and a little high level, and this is my distal down low, right? So we're exploring our space, right? So in my core distal movement, I want to go to the north where it's cold. I want to go to the south pole. I mean, the north could be cold and the south could be colder. And then I want to go way out to the east and the west. And I can do that with my legs too. And then I want to find my core. Oh, so I'm going to go big, and then I'm going to go small. And I'm going to reach out to all four corners of the earth. Big, small. And that would be my core distal, marking all the biggest and smallest spaces of my body. Now, I could talk about that in terms of number value. So if I'm doing tens, I would be distal. And if I were doing 0, I would be tiny. Very little value for a 0, but a lot of value for a 10. And that's how we're going to think about big and small and core and distal in the body. My next one is head to tail. That's my spine. I have the bottom of that long bony thing in my back. That's my coccyx, or my tailbone. And my head is the top of my spine, where those bones start. My head rests on top of my spine. I have to warm that up. I have to get it moving. So when I do head tail, I'm gonna go inside a little cave, and then I'm gonna, like a turtle, come out of that shell, and I'm gonna try and get my head to see everything all the way above me. Then I'm gonna go back into my shell, because I'm a little nervous. And I'm gonna turn around and do it to this side. I'm gonna take my head and I'm gonna come way out and look at everything. And if I go high enough, my head sort of feels like it's meeting my tail, but behind me. And then I'm gonna pull that under, and I'm gonna drop my head and go back into my shell. And I'm gonna feel like my head meets my tail on the other side. Or it meets my pubic bone, the bottom of my bones in the front. So I'm doing a little undulating up with my head and down with my head. Meets my tail in the back, meets my tail underneath. And then, like a snake, I'm gonna wiggle side to side. The head and the body following. I like a little snaky action. Little snake, that's head tail. Now, that's our spine, right? Warming up our spine. When I get done with warming up my spine, I'm gonna separate the body. I'm gonna start moving it in parts. So let's just look up in the north and down in the south, and then let's go side to side, or east and west, or if I have a clock, up to 12, down to 6, then over to 3, and over to 9, and up to 12. Down to 6, over to 3, over to 9, north, south, and east, and west with my head. Now my shoulders can go 1, and then they can go 2. So I'm keeping everything still now except my shoulders. Now can we do it one at a time? I can go one shoulder, and then another shoulder, and then both of them come back. And I can do it the other way. One shoulder and another shoulder, and they both come back. Now what if I add my elbow? Oh, hey you over there. And then my arms, and they can come in, and they can go up, and they can come in. And can you follow me? Through my arms, just my arms are moving, my head still now. My shoulders are still now. Out, in, up, in, out, in. Stop the arms and move just the hips. Can my hips go side to side like when I was wiggling like a snake? But my head is still, my shoulders are still, and my arms are quiet. And just my hips. And then I wonder if I can just move my foot. My right foot, which comes all the way up to my knee, all the way up to my hip, and then my left foot All right, now that's body parts, right? And thinking about body parts, so can I put them all together? I can put them all together and I can shake, 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 and freeze. Yeah, and then I want to figure out how to use my orientations or my directions. We can teach all kinds of great orientation and direction. What's really important is where I look, my body will follow. So if I'm going to take all one side and I'm going to move it, I want my eyes in front, because moving and balancing on one leg is going to take some focus. And I'm going to go side to side with only my right, or whichever side feels good to you. And I'm going to push away and pull in, and push away and pull in, like the ocean. Tide goes out, tide comes in, all one side and stop. Go the other way. Tide goes out, tide comes in. Told you I was going to go the ocean. Remember when we put on our sunblock with the tactile? And last time on this side. And now let's see if we can move it. Move to that side. And now move to that side. And then take a leading foot and a following foot. Take a leading arm and a following arm. Now let's hitchhike. Move to the right, that's side to side lateral. Move to the left, that's side to side lateral. Now, the tricky thing, and what helps us balance and helps us coordinate and helps us read, is if we can cross our middle. My belly button tells me that's the middle of my two body sides. And if I can cross that in opposites, then I can balance nicely and I can coordinate nicely. So I'm crossing to the opposites at both arms and legs. So when one leg goes across, the opposite arm goes across. Do you remember opposites? What's opposite big? Small. What's opposite hard? Soft. And so on. That's a cross lateral. You have lots of different ways you can do these things. I'm showing one. Lastly, we have to get a little dizzy, and then we have to find our balance. Eyes on me, 1, 2, 3. And that finishes everything. But how do we get dizzy? We're gonna spin like a top. All right, get ready. We're gonna spin like a top. Oh, stop. Eyes on me, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, 1, 2, 3. Now, can you put your hands on your hips? Can you go on one leg? Keep your eyes on me, and can you balance on one foot for 1, 2, 3, 4? You did it. And then we would go the other way. And that is vestibular. We did lateral side to side, cross lateral, crossing the midline, and vestibular movement. The vestibular is the hardest word. It's the biggest word, and it is about balance, right? We have a system, an entire system devoted to balancing in our body, and it is called the vestibular system. So when we are working with the embodiment of finding balance, going off balance, and making movement up for that final part of the dance, we're talking about that vestibular system, and we're using that word of balance. Now, young kids don't need to know vestibular, although one of the best ways to teach them to read is to use multisyllabic words. Vestibular is a pretty cool word because there are a lot of syllables in it, and you can play with it and teach it. But they can think about balance. They can think about focus. They can think about eyes on me, 1, 2, 3. That's how we get still, and that's how we feel grounded. And that is the brain dance, ladies and gentlemen, with an embodiment, with an image, and with all of them in order, 8 elements. Your quiz will be like this. Thank you.